Hey, welcome to another Metallic Onslaught interview. This week I have with me Mr. Michael Gilbert from Flotsam Jetsam. How's it going there, Mike?
It's going great. Thank you very much for having me on today to talk about the new record. I really
Yes,
appreciate it.
absolutely. I listened to it last night, as I was just saying, and it knocked Bruce Dickinson out of my top spot for the year. And that was holding strong for quite a while. It's been a really good year for albums, but you guys have done it's among one of your best as far. I mean, even your last few have been pretty amazing. You guys are pretty
Yeah,
consistent.
thank you. I appreciate that. And we've kind of considered like the last four, like our re-emergence back into the metal scene, where we really kind of hit our stride with the self-titled record, and then ever
Mhm.
since then, we've just been going strong with the songwriting. We're all really clicking good together as far as writing. And we've got a guy in the band, our drummer Ken Mary. He's a world class producer. He's really
Okay,
a
so
super.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was actually going to ask who was behind the production because the album just sounds pretty much flawless.
Actually, all of us are behind the production. We all have home studios, but the drum production and some of the songwriting arrangements and stuff like that. Ken Mary steps in on that. He's a professional. He's been a producer for years and years, for forever, and he brings those talents to our band. So he's like, I call him our Swiss Army knife because he's got all this stuff under his belt. Not only that, like he's like one of the greatest drummers I've ever met.
Oh
He's
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, I can hear that just on the albums. That I mean, his playing is just beastly. And I never really, for whatever reason, I never really heard anything by Fifth Angel back in the day. So it's like I was familiar with his name, but not necessarily with his material that he was. I think the only thing I was really familiar with was the brief stint he played with Alice Cooper, and he's on the Nightmare Returns DVD,
Yeah.
which we're approaching spooky season, so I'll be visiting that again soon. That's neither here nor there. So yeah,
Yeah,
Ken,
he's
Ken
got
is a
quite the resume.
beast. He does.
He's got quite the. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, he's got quite the resume. If you look at all the stuff that he's done, it's pages and pages. He's definitely he's made his mark in the business. I'm lucky to even play in this band. I've got world class players. I think that we have the best singer in metal. Uh, Steve Conley drives me to be a better player, and Bill Bodley, he's the newest addition of our band, and he's like a bass genius mechanically, mathematically. I mean, him and Ken play really good together to
I
secure the
I
rhythm.
am very glad to hear that he and Ken gel well because Bill is from our neck of the woods and we're familiar with him. He used to play
Okay.
in a
Good.
band around here called Inhumatus, who I'm pretty sure one of our other co-hosts, Rick Horton, has booked Inhumatus more than once on shows that we do locally. So yes, we know Bill.
Cool.
And
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
yep, yes, indeed. He's also received an open invite because he is relatively local. He's received an invite to join us on the show some night. So we'll see if he takes us up on that. But yeah, okay. So the new album is called "I Am the Weapon." I failed to mention that. I just kind of wanted to discuss a couple songs here that really stood out to me, and maybe kind of gather some intel as to what they're about and how you came across them. And let's start with "Beneath the Shadows." That was pretty intense.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like this is the controversial song on the record because it's not really thrash. It's kind of when I first wrote it, I wrote the riff because Ken was calling for. Like, he's like, dude, we need something that's like walk. We need something that's slow and heavy. So to slow it down a little bit, that's kind of what I came up with. And then Steve had ruined the whole vibe for me, and I say that laughing because he's like, it sounds like ZZ Top. And if I hope I don't like put that in anybody's head that it sounds like ZZ Top. I don't think it does, but pretty funny. But it's different from the rest of the songs on the record.
Oh, for sure.
And but if anything, it's going to be it's kind of turning out to be like the radio song. It's really radio friendly and compared to the rest of the record where it's just overly fierce and it's a if I could describe our record in one word, it would be dangerous. It's definitely on fire. Are you there?
I am here. Yes. No, it is definitely. It was a pleasant surprise, and I certainly didn't hear anything that was ZZ Top adjacent. And hey, I kind of like ZZ Top, so even if it was, I've seen them like 3 times, and I'll see them again. While they're still with us.
Billy Gibbons is a great guitar tone, awesome player. And like the LaGrange, who can sing and play that at the same time? That's insanity.
Billy is a talented mofo for sure. So Gates of Hell was another one that stood out to me. How is that one come about?
So the way the songwriting works with the band is it's usually Steve or myself that write the original riffs. The 99% of the time it's us that demo the songs out, and that was one of his where he put the music together and demoed it out for those guys. And Ken and AK do, they work the lyrics and the choruses. And I don't know if you notice, like in past years, we haven't always had strong choruses on our records, but this record, I Am the Weapon, I believe, in my opinion, that every chorus on it is strong. You can compare a lot of it to power metal, which is really big right now. Yep. For what we do, but yet the thrashers are still like, it's still a thrash record, So it's kind of nice to reach out to both genres. I hate to say genres because metal is our community. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It's exactly. If it's metal, it's metal. That's our community. Yeah,
that's pretty much how I look at it. I just think if sometimes you're micromanaging too much, sometimes, it's like this genre, that genre, this subgenre. And it's like, at what point do we just get back and it's like, hey, it's all good. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah. And you don't have to like it for us to still be friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Another one was Kings of the Underworld. I really, that was another standout for me. I mean, the whole album's phenomenal, but.
Steve and I were just talking about this morning. Where it's all over the map when we're getting reviews coming in. We haven't had any bad reviews yet,
I noticed that.
Which is great. But all the reviews, all the songs are different that people like, and they and which songs they're latching on to, which is also a very pleasant surprise to know that it's not just one song that everybody likes. It's all of them. It seems that they're sitting pretty well with the community, which I can't ask for anything more than that,
Very cool.
So which one is your favorite? Is Gates of Hell your favorite or Kings of the Underworld? I would
say out of the 3 that I've mentioned, Gates of Hell was probably my favorite, but I
that's a mean song, man.
It really is. So let's I know I just kind of wanted to talk a little about some band history here, but let's talk like upcoming plans first. The album just came out. You probably got some tour dates in preparation. What's coming up in that regard?
What's happening right now is we just signed with management. It's getting too big for us to self-manage anymore, so we decided to hire some big guns for that, which is FM Management. Okay. And so they're working on tour dates, and we seem to have our pick of what we want to do. So we're throwing stuff around and trying to figure out our schedule and our timing. Right now, the only thing that is 100% for sure on the books is 70,000 Tons of Metal in January. Okay. There might be some dates before that, and there's definitely going to be a lot of dates after that. We're already gearing up for next year's summer festival circuit in Europe. It's a glorious time of the year, actually, to be over there and doing.
I look forward to it. If I were 20 years younger and had the funds, I would probably be taking advantage. I'd love to go to Wacken.
Yeah, we just played that one, and it was kick-ass, like it always is. For a metal band, if you get to play Wacken or Hellfest, it's kind of like the Super Bowl,
Download.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. All of them, man. There's
festivals are the best. It just kind of, it's like I like living in America, but sometimes I kind of feel like I was born in the wrong continent.
Yeah, it's weird that the United States doesn't have the same type of like a summer festival circuit, like that, because maybe it's just they don't know what it's like and how fun it is, or maybe because our country's too spread out. Europe is very close together. They only have a couple hours before they can make it to the next festival for the next weekend following. But I don't know. I'm just very surprised. We do have festivals here, but it's not like a whole, everybody takes time off of work over there for the whole month to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be really cool if the United States got on board with that too. Everybody likes a month off, right? Sabbatical. Yeah. Hell yeah.
For sure. I also think part of what kind of hurts on our end is we've never really, I mean, there are a lot of people who love metal in the States, but for a while it hasn't been the most popular form of music, and it fluctuates. And we're at a point now where, pop and rap and whatever passes for country these days, which is a travesty if you ask me. I grew up on outlaw country, so it's like this new stuff is
I kind of like some of the newer. It's like hard rock with a country like a country accent, with the singer. And I kind of like it, I like all music pretty much, I mean, there's nothing I'm gonna not try to listen to just because of what what it is.
Exactly.
But what was I just gonna say? I don't remember. It slipped past me. I'm sorry. But go ahead.
There are some fairly recent artists. We were just I think Jelly Roll was mentioned, so maybe I got to look into some of his stuff. But Blackberry Smoke is probably the closest thing to country right now that I can get into. But because they also have an appreciation for some of the more hard rock, I think of them more like a southern rock band, which is fine.
Yeah, and I like to listen to a lot of the bluegrass players and country players.
For sure,
Brad Paisley. Holy crap! That guy can play. Have you seen the video where he's playing Hot for Teacher?
I think I may have.
He's a badass. And then you got the underground guys, maybe not so much underground, but Albert Lee, holy smoke, those guys.
No, my mom made sure I grew up on a steady diet of Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard. So some of it had to stick somewhere.
Yep. Can't go wrong with that stuff.
No, you really can't. But yeah, I mean, it's band history. I mean, you guys are pretty much celebrating 40 years as Flotsam and Jetsam. I think it was 84. You'd gone under a different name for a while, or maybe a sequence of different names, and you finally settled on Flotsam 40 years ago. I just thought it might be, considering, you guys hit the road pretty frequently, and you've been to all points. You've passed through my area numerous times, I'm sure, Central New York, Finger Lakes, Western, upstate. I was just thinking maybe, if you'd be willing to share some memories of our region.
Yeah, absolutely. We did our third record in upstate New York in Ithaca with Alex Perialis.
Yes, I know Alex. Yes, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, a pioneer in our business, at least.
Absolutely.
He did some stuff like Anthrax, and
Testament.
A lot of metal bands came to see Alex when they wanted to record. So. Definitely a good dude and a good producer, engineer, mix guy for sure.
And he's still at it too.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. I mean, I don't know to what degree, but I know it's funny because if you ever heard of a band called The Rods.
That's old school stuff right there.
Yes, indeedy. And, I mean, they're still around. And I thought it was amusing that, they come and play locally in Ithaca periodically. It's been a while, but Alex is their sound guy when they come to play. That's actually how I first met Alex, was at a Rod show. So
that's killer.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
So that was our third record. We were young, and I think that some of our older stuff is due for a remix or get a little updated. That one's definitely a contender for maybe just getting a little more polished, but as far as that, I'm super grateful to be here. We're pushing up, coming up on 40 years. I'm super grateful to still be relevant in this business. And we were talking about, our last four records, something happened. There's definitely blood in the water on our last four records because whatever the chemistry is in the band, it's working really well for us. And I couldn't be more proud of the players that I'm playing with right now. It's a joy to go out on the road with these guys and to be able to play with these guys and write music with them. It's very cool.
That's good to hear. So I don't know. I mean, it's while we're reminiscing, do you have any funny road stories from our region? That
some of them I can't share.
Are you sure about that? I'm not going to put you on the. Nah.
I am the guy in the band that people stay away from because I'm kind of the dick of the band, I guess. I Photoshop everybody doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. And Yeah, I think I'm annoying to these guys.
So kind of the class clown, maybe.
Yeah, but I try to take it to the next level, and it's just some of the Photoshop pictures that get passed around are just they're not offensive, they're just funny,
Gotcha.
and they're more of inside jokes when they're like, "Fucking Gilbert, you're a dick." Can I say that?
Yes, you can say that.
Oh, okay.
I set my my YouTube settings are such that it's 18 and over, just because.
Oh yeah.
You never know. It's like, so yeah, swear all you want. No minors are going to hear it.
Yeah, these guys know if I take a picture of them, something's going on. Most of them will not let me take a picture of them.
See, I can respect that. That was me at one point. I mean, I don't know if I would have. No, actually, there was a point in time where I think we have that in common. Actually, it's just not something I engage in these days. But there was a time where family reunions, I'd always have a camera. Camping trips, I'd always have a camera, and people would live to regret my camera. So I could relate.
Yeah.
Like, one year maybe somebody got a coffee mug for Christmas that might have had a photo from a camping trip that they might have been washing their hair in the creek, but
Yes.
it's all in good fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is all in good fun. We have a lot of fun, no doubt. And 40 years later, still, I didn't think that we would still be doing this, and to still be able to pack up our stuff and go on a cruise, a metal cruise, a 24/7 metal band to Jamaica this time. That's pretty amazing. I never thought that. I always wanted to be a rock star when I was a kid, and I'm kind of living that lifestyle a little bit, where I don't have a Lamborghini or anything like that, but I get a lot of perks. I get to go on cruises, and stuff like that, which is pretty badass.
Oh, I agree.
And you know what? Actually, the favorite part for me on doing it, I of course I love the show, playing the show, but I get to connect with people too. Like we did a meet and greet down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for Summer Breeze just a few months back, and we have never been that far south before. Actually, we've never been to South America before. So
really,
there was the meet and greet was huge. We had an hour to meet people, and they turned away a couple of hundred people, which kind of sucked because they took us out of there after that. We only have a certain amount of time to hang out with people,
right?
But that's my favorite, is to hear people's stories and to connect with people. So the boat is that's why it's one of my favorite gigs, is I get to hang out with everybody. I get to drink beer with people that I might have influenced, or they just tell me a story like, man, I've listened to Doomsday since I was 12 years old, or what. It's really cool to hear that stuff, man. And they're from all over the world too, which I never thought people would hear my playing that lived on another continent across the ocean. That's crazy.
Yeah, see, South America, that doesn't surprise me, because I feel like they're about the same level of love for metal as most places in Europe. They it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that's why they brought the Summer Breeze Festival over there, because it originated in Germany. So They have Summer Breeze Germany, and then they have the one in South America now, which is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The only problem with it is the mosquitoes. There's a lot of mosquitoes.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, you're down by the equator, and a much more tropical environment than Florida. I mean, it's like you're based in Arizona, so I doubt you probably get a lot of. I don't know what is it like in Arizona with insects. You get a lot of tarantulas and scorpions. Is kind of what I picture.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. And snakes. You're leaving the rattlesnakes out, which are fairly common. You see those things all the time. Yeah. Tarantulas. I stay away from spiders. I'm horrified by spiders. It scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
Yeah, the big hairy spider is like the worst thing on the planet for me, even though I know it's a super docile creature. But actually, this is a good story, not pertaining to music or anything, but it's pertaining to spiders. I had this big thing flying around in my backyard. It was a giant wasp. It was black and orange, right? And the thing's probably 4.5, 5 inches long. It's giant.
Like maybe one of those Japanese murder hornets they were talking about a few years ago.
Well, I snagged it with my my pool net.
Okay.
Caught it, and I was looking at it, and what it was a tarantula wasp. The thing was, it was cruising around. I've got a wood pile back there, so it's like cruising around. It's looking for a spider. So he's my friend. Thank God he didn't find any spiders.
See, I'm here. I'm here. That's kind of like, I spiders creep me out, but I also understand that they serve a purpose. And as long as they stay out in the hedges in front of my apartment, I'm okay. Let them build their little webs outside and they can eat all the mosquitoes. As a matter of fact, a lot of those mosquitoes are actually attached to my apartment door because it's just a mass of spider webs.
Nice.
But I know they're working. They're doing their jobs. It's when it gets cold in the winter and they start coming indoors, it's like, okay, we're not going to have a home invasion scenario. You guys stay, go into hibernation or whatever you guys do when the snow falls.
And somebody said something to me a while back, a few years ago, I thought was pretty profound in it, because I normally would kill a spider, but it breathes the same air. This thing breathes the same air as us. So, I try to have a little compassion. Kind of depends on where it's at, if I kill it or not. I don't want to kill anything, even though I'm scared to death.
I get it. Absolutely, I get it. For me, I think it depends on size. If they're indoors, if it's because we get the wolf spiders up here, which are smaller than a tarantula, but pretty much just as hairy and creepy.
Yeah.
If they're over a certain size, it's like they kind of get the toilet paper treatment and down the toilet. If they're a little smaller, I'll kind of like wrangle them onto a plate and like a little cup over them, and then I'll let them go in the hedges.
There you go.
Open up my shower.
Big,
if there's one in my bathtub when I go to take a shower, it's pretty much nope. Sorry, you're not going to survive this encounter. If I have
watching you take a shower,
if it
they have more than two eyes.
Yeah,
all those little beady eyes watching you take a shower. That's horrifying.
If you look at the little jumping spiders, those beady eyes are actually cute.
You need help, man.
Well, you're not the first person to say that. I have heard that many times. But yes, the summers up here, it's definitely mosquitoes are definitely a thing. So I can only imagine what South America's got to be like in the jungle, Brazil.
Yeah, they had something going on down there where they were saying they were carrying the mosquitoes were carrying a virus. So that's why they were like, there was a ton of mosquitoes. They were like, watch out for the mosquitoes. Don't make sure you have repellent when you go down there.
West Nile is very much a thing. Yes. I'm assuming that's what they're referring to as possibility of West Nile virus.
I don't know. I had enough alcohol in me. I don't think any mosquito didn't want anything to do with me. So I was drinking Jack Daniels all night.
That could be a natural deterrent.
Didn't get bit once.
You might be onto something. Well, was there anything else you wanted to discuss here?
I know we're supposed to be talking about the record, and here we are talking about mosquitoes and spiders. But I like those kind of conversations. It's way more personable, man, and they're pretty meaningful, to me.
Well, I figure sometimes it's like I feel bad sometimes because, it's like I'll hit the important bases and then kind of feel like I'm cutting the interview short. Like I don't really have much more to talk about. And this is going pretty well because we're I enjoy having conversations.
Yeah, me too, man. But like what you're talking about, I'm super stoked that you're involved in the record and we get to do an interview and talk about it a little bit. And I appreciate you pushing it. And if you're playing a couple of the new songs and even throwing some older stuff in on your podcast, I mean, the band appreciates it. I can extend that from everybody to say thank you. Really appreciate it and helping us step up on the ladder.
Very cool. Yes, we definitely appreciate the general consensus all around so far because I think most of us, if not all of us, have heard it by now, and we're definitely proud to be playing it on the show.
Nice, thank you.
We hope to be seeing you on the road. So let's run this down here. So one more time, the album is I Am the Weapon. The band is Flotsam Jetsam. They are certified metal legends, and check it out. And when they come to your town, go support them. And one more time, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Randy.
Pleasure speaking to you.
You as well, man.
All right.